I tell you, Thursday nights, I don't know. Are we going to be the new like must-see TV? Are we going to be like the Friends of 1990s television? I'm guessing probably not. But
Probably not. But you never know.
That's a very high bar. I shouldn't even put that kind of pressure on us. Let me get my volume up here.
Must see TV. Looks like you're on location again.
I am indeed on location. Oh boy.
Uh-oh. I lost
you. I'm on location, but as I was planning on using my computer, I don't have my whatever that thing is, the stand.
Stand, yeah.
Oof.
Find something to lean it against. That's good enough. Perfect.
Yep. Luckily, my mom has a vast collection of locks she purchased in India that serve absolutely no functional purpose except maybe loading up.
Holding up the phone. What's up, Scotty B?
Oh man!
Thanks for joining us, Scotty. I actually have a topic to discuss that'll probably be of interest to you. I'm interested to hear your point of view on it. But where are you, Chris? Are you on the East Coast?
I'm in North Carolina. I'm in Charlotte, and my dad and I have opened up a lot of Stadium Club in the last couple of days. Unfortunately, it's 2022 Stadium Club, but we had a first. We pulled our first gold minted out of a pack that I've ever pulled out of a pack.
How many boxes have we opened and never pulled a gold minted?
I think you and I must have opened 10 to 12 in the last few years, at least, ever a gold minted. So first of all, my dad just rifled through it and acted like it was nothing at all. And I'm like, did any cards look different? And he said no. But we know, of course, gold minters look exceptionally different.
They look way different. They're gold.
They're gold. They're minted. Anyway, this is our gold minted, a Salvatore Perez.
All right.
But,
cool shot. Love gold minted.
Not the player you want, but goddamn, it's still a beautiful card.
Yeah.
The color in it really just pops. Gorgeous card.
Well, congrats on the pull. I'm sure you got some really top-notch autos out of those boxes.
I found a full-on hobby box at my local or their local Lids, which I never thought to walk into, but I figured I'd give it a shot. And we pulled 2 autos out of our hobby. My dad, I think, broke down all of Topps products in the most succinct, angry sort of like feedback comment I've ever heard, but he nailed it. So first of all, I'll show you our 2 autos. Jake McCarthy.
All right.
Yeah.
At least it's a player we've heard of.
Right, and Connor Wong.
Okay.
My dad said, after we pulled both of these, he said, I wrote it down, why the hell does Topps go through the effort of having these players sign the cards if nobody's going to want them? I had no answer. I had no.
That's very well put, Mr. Parsons. I feel like, the answer is so they can sell more product. But
yes. But yeah, I was like, what? But yeah, I had nothing. I was like, all right, that's an excellent question, Dad.
Yeah. Wow. Well, welcome those of you who managed to find us. Yes, fantastic question. Scotty approves. Maybe we can discuss it on our other podcast at some point too. But thank you to those of you who found us at our new night and time, Thursday night at 6 Pacific, 9 Eastern, for a little blabbing live. We got a couple things to talk about. Some big news today in the hobby was the Taco Fractor in the final reveal of the importance of the Taco Fractor. So you want to tell everybody about that?
First of all, I'm going to say, Jeff, I think you're throwing the word importance around real casual like. I'm not sure that's the accurate word. My hands have been full, but if I'm not mistaken, if you have a Taco Fractor of the player that's stealing the World Series, you win. Is it Taco Bell for life?
Yes. And I did read the fine print, and it's a $15,000 digital gift card.
That's about. I don't think you could eat that much Taco Bell and live. No. So that's got to be about the max that your body can handle.
It's probably like $2 a day maximum.
I watched a mutual friend of ours, eat $26 worth of Taco Bell after a softball tournament. And I thought for sure he was going to drop dead on the spot. So $15,000 should last the better part of your adult
He
life.
may survive, but I don't know if his toilet did.
Oh.
Right.
Oh no.
If you have the Taco Fractor, which means there's 5 possibilities, right? Because they're numbered to 5. So there could be 5 winners.
There could be. But there's also, they didn't make a Taco Fractor for every player, right?
Right.
I mean, goodness, right. What happens if Spencer Strider steals the first base? We know sure as hell there's no Topps Chrome Taco Fractor of him. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't read that far into it. Is there a contingency? Is it like the first player who has a Taco Fractor with a stolen base in the World Series?
I don't know.
I mean, it kind of made me think. Remember when we first heard about the Taco Fractors? Everybody was throwing out ideas of what they could mean. Is there going to be some sort of prize? Is it like a big party you get to go to? And I kind of feel like they didn't even know.
No.
I feel like Topps and Fanatics didn't even know, and they're like, all right, well, we got to think of something. And that's why they didn't release what the prize was until now. I mean, people had speculated that it might have something to do with Taco Bell. But yeah, so I don't know if it was just like, this is all we could come up with, so here you go.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of baseball cards, meaning of a baseball card promotion existing outside of the baseball card itself. I don't like that. Ben, I'll be honest, I've not been in our chat. What was his suggestion? What was Jake's suggestion for the next? It's been a hell of a day for me, so I didn't see what Jake said. But Ben, please share it so we can discuss.
Share what the idea is for the next.
Yeah,
I kind of like it. I like the chase factor if it has something to do, like if it'd be a meet and greet with the player or something, or you go on the field during batting practice, something like that.
I just realized I did read what Jake wrote, and to keep it PG-13, I like Jake's idea a lot better. Jeff, if you think about it, you might remember. I don't want to get thrown off of YouTube, but it was like an adult version of what a Taco Fractor could be, and I would much rather pull that card for sure. Because I'll put it this way: if fluid's going to be rushing out of me, I don't want it to be rushing out on that end. That reminds me what the card is that Jake suggested.
All right. Well, back to the topic at hand. I do like it if there's a chase that means something, but not this.
No, I would love like if you could go to like the awards banquet at the end of the year, that would be awesome. I would.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Or hey, what's up, Lucky Peter? Or get on the field for BP, or meet your favorite player, meet the player whose Taco Fractor you get. So I think I do like that. I do like that, but I think this was just kind of a miss. I mean,
yeah, I would love to get it because I've heard so many great stories and seen some video of the sound that Ronald Acuna's BP makes. I want to hear that firsthand. I want to be up against the screen and really hear that crack in the back.
That'd be great. Fanatics has such close connections with the leagues. You think that they'd be able to make something like that happen?
Yes,
and I think that would encourage more people to buy than one chance of getting a taco for life.
Yeah, I don't need that. I mean, I think we all have enough digestive distress that we're dealing with.
All right, Luke says if the player doesn't have a Taco Fractor, the Taco Fractor wild card gets the tacos for life.
All right, so kudos to Topps for actually thinking that one through.
Yeah.
Realized there's a Taco Fractor wild card.
That card is already sold for $11,000. Luke, did that sell before people knew what this was? Like they thought it might be a trip to Hawaii with the Trout family or something? I mean, otherwise, why on earth would you buy that for $11,000?
It's just so weird to think about. Like being in the hobby, I'd much rather wouldn't you rather have like a first Bowman Chrome auto of Betts or Acuna for $11,000 than a bunch of tacos that are just gonna shred your insides?
Yeah, or you could spend that money on the tacos over your lifetime. If you could just set up your own special taco bank account that you only draw from for that.
Maybe I'm just being snobbish. I don't know. I mean, I guess, well, if you can spend $11,000 on a baseball card, you can afford Taco Bell for the next 25 years. But maybe that's just me being snobby again. I don't know. I don't want
Right.
to offend.
That's why I want to know when that purchase was made. Was it after this contest was revealed, or was it still before? Okay, so it was still when there was like a possibility. I don't know. Maybe you shoot a taco commercial with Fernando Tatis Jr. or something.
Yeah, so I have questions. Like, let's say you have the Acuna Taco Fractor. Acuna steals that base. If there's the other, they're numbered to 5. Is that right? I mean, diarrhea for life, as Chris McBreen says. That's exactly right. I mean,
True, truthfully.
yeah, it should come with like $15,000 with a Taco Bell, but 5,000 worth of Charmin or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They should have found another partner. You're right.
Yes, like what Jack. If you watch a lot of 30 Rock, that's what Jack Donaghy, the Alec Baldwin, would say would be corporate synergy.
That's right. Plus, they could advertise it as $20,000 worth of prizes instead of just 15.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Or he said that's if the player doesn't have a taco card. Right. So it's a lot to pay for the wild chance.
Yeah, that's so weird. It's such a weird thing. I guess we should just be like, honestly, we should be excited to hear that Topps is just doing weird stuff. And stuff like this will get Topps in the media, and that will potentially grow the hobby. So probably we should be generally excited for this, even though you and I are not particularly desirous of $15,000 worth of Taco Bell.
Right. Well, like I said, I like the idea of having a chase card means something. And so if this is going to head them in that direction, I think that's cool. I know another thing that happened this week that you were a part of, maybe you can talk a little bit about, is you went to Hobby Rip Night, which was big. They had around the country at card shops, and I know there were a lot. I'm not sure, was that card shop that Tom Brady went to? Was that in Boston or New York? Tom Brady and Kevin Hart, a bunch of celebrities showed up, ripped some cards, traded with kids. So I kind of feel like that's kind of the direction that they're going to try to grow the hobby. You want to talk a little bit about the that Hobby Rip Night you went to?
Yeah, that was really cool. So we went to Burbank Sports Cards. They were doing a trade night from like 5 to 9. Jake, short print a day on Instagram. He and I went. It was our first date. It was very nice. There was some pressure, but
Yeah.
so we walk in and they were handing out like raffle tickets for giveaway. We specifically asked the card father, like, is this for adults or should we just save the tickets for kids? And he said, no, you guys are welcome. We each took a ticket. We walked inside. I think we were standing inside for all of like 5 seconds, maybe 20 seconds. And they're like, we're going to do our first winners. The first number they called was Jake's ticket. And he won like a pretty nice looking Jerry Rice rookie card. So he was pumped. His night was like right off the bat. And it was pretty funny to see a bunch of people come up and try to like buy the card off of him.
Were they all telling him how bad it was? You don't want this. Look at it.
I mean, he's 6'3". But yeah, they were like, I'll trade you for that. And that's just really funny to hear a bunch of adults talk about trading baseball cards. I will never, I mean, mind you, I was involved in these discussions, but it was here. Like, we used to do when we were 10, 11, and 12. And now you got guys in their 30s and 40s being like, hey, let's trade baseball cards. It's always kind of fun. But it was a really cool event. They had tables outside. They were probably close to, I'd say, 100 people at the shop, which is always great to see.
Yeah, that's great. So I know, since it was Topps sponsored, did Topps do any of the giveaways or Fanatics?
Anyone whose number was called got a pack, like a trade night hobby pack. Cool. That just had 4 or 5 cards in it that was specifically labeled like Topps trade night, or I forget. I think it was Topps trade night or Topps rip night. I forget what they were. So that was great. They were doing like, I would say if there were 100 people there, 90 people won one of those packs to rip open.
Wow.
10 who did not. So I don't have one of those cards to show you what they look like. So I forget what my number was, but the 3 numbers after me and 2 numbers before me all won. But my number was not called.
You did not win. Well,
that's okay. I won by being there, by being out of my house. And my wife won because I wasn't home.
Yeah, well, it sounds like a cool event. Yeah, I was sad that I couldn't go because I would love to check out the atmosphere. I've been to trade nights there before, and they've been great. So I was just wondering how this one would compare. But I wonder if Fanatics is going to make that more of a regular thing again, if it's part of their plan.
A couple times a year, they should do that. And it was cool. So Jake and I each brought some stuff, some cards we were putting out, and it was nice to see a lot of his short prints in person. He's got a really cool collection.
Did he end up making any trades or sales?
He almost did. He put out a bunch of of Judge and Trout like short prints that he has, and two guys just came like right over like a moth to the flame. And this one dude really liked, I forget which card it was that Jake had, but he was trying to trade him a Cosmic Chrome Julio Rodriguez card. And yeah, didn't get a lot of traction, unfortunately, for that guy. He's like, but it's numbered. And we're like, yeah. So that's just like, I think that worked as a pretty good warning out there. Like, just because something's numbered does not mean that it's desirable. Please don't buy Cosmic Chrome. Please don't buy Sonic Chrome. PSA out there for the.
Although even in some of our card chats, there have been some fans of those products, or at least Cosmic Chrome, right?
I think they were like anecdotal fans that liked how some of the pictures of the inserts looked, but I have not seen those people ripping any boxes and talking about.
Yeah.
Some of it is interesting, and I know Sindon's Lab is always talking about how I think it's the Venus. Is it the Venus parallel that hasn't turned up? There's some.
Venus.
Yeah, well, apparently there's one planet where the parallels just have not shown up yet, which I think is kind of interesting and very, very on brand for Topps.
I think somebody made a good point I can't remember who it was, but in seeing some of these pictures, that they would be great as inserts in a regular Topps Chrome set. Like have a cosmic insert set where you have 20 of the top players with these really cool backgrounds. I thought that was a good idea.
Yeah, but $100 and some odd for a Cosmic Chrome hobby box just seems a little bit absurd, but I don't know. I did not realize that Lids had such an extreme supply of baseball.
I just got an ad in my email that Lids they have their own packs now.
Like boy, your phone is listening to our text messages. That's kind of creepy.
Packs that are exclusive to Lids. If you buy a hat or something, you get these packs.
Yes, you get the hats with like the patch on the side. That's like 70 years of Topps or something. If you buy one of those hats, you get a free pack. They would tell me about that today.
Oh, yeah.
But they had like full-on hobby boxes at Lids, but not for like the current hobby box price. They were all for the MSRP, the initial listed price, which is a little bit kind of a bummer.
Which is how much is it down from there?
Okay, so for example, they actually had 2022 Topps Chrome Update hobby boxes, and yeah, Ben, exactly, that does make sense because I believe Fanatics owns Lids, so there should be a direct line right there. I think a 2022 Topps Chrome Update hobby box now on eBay is like $60 to $65, and they wanted $119.99 at Lids. I mean, that's just too much. I can't stomach that. So I just bought some Blasters of Stadium Club, and their last Stadium Club hobby box, which of course, yeah.
Was Stadium Club more reasonably priced to what current pricing is?
I think the hobby box was $110, which is about. I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
And the Blasters were $25, which I think is probably what they are, $24.99, something like that. I mean, it's always a fun rip, but you know what you're getting, which is not $120 worth of value.
Yes, it's the Mr. Parsons question.
Yeah, no offense to Connor Wong and Jake McCarthy.
Well, one thing I wanted to talk about tonight is something that Chris and I have been talking about a little bit lately, specifically as it pertains to this card I want to show.
Oh, okay.
How many SPs or SSPs is too many when we're talking about pop? So the reason I bring it up is because Chris and I have this card.
Uh-oh. Yep.
Okay. Mookie Betts smiling in the dugout. And if Scotty's still here, I'd love to hear his input on this. This is one of Mookie's best rookie cards. There are no parallels. It's a very short print in terms of print run compared to how things are now. And even the pop doesn't seem that high. I know you looked it up. Is what, 20?
It's over 200.
It's over 200. Okay. But the value just is not there. Is that because there's too many, or is that still a reflection on the Mookie Betts market? But it's just stunning to me that one of the best players, and it's one of the earlier short prints.
Yeah. In terms of short print rookies, especially. Yeah.
Right. Why doesn't it have any traction? And it's a cool shot.
Yeah, it's one of those cards that we'll see occasional spikes, right?
Yeah.
it'll spike up to about $1,000, and then it comes right back down. And I think that's got to be a population thing, because there are over 200. It's one of those cards that it's cool and it is fairly rare, but there's always at least one or two. I think there's currently 3 PSA 10s on eBay. I looked it up a little while ago, which is a lot. I mean, I guess it's not too many because there's more. It's an SP, so we would compare it to like the Juan Soto hands on hips and the Acuna like blue red jersey had an update in 2018. Right. Those are way more common. I think the hands on hips is well over 300 now.
Yes,
if not approaching 400. But yeah, it's definitely one of Betts' absolute best rookie cards at a flagship, especially. I mean, what would you put above it? Like, there's 2014 golds, and I think that the gold gem pop is. I don't know off the top of my head. If someone wants to look this up, Ben, if you're still in here, please do. I would be curious what the gold gem pop is versus the SP pop.
Yeah,
because theoretically the print numbers should be fairly close, if the online rumors are to be believed.
Is that you feel like the print run for the SPs in 2014 is about 2,000?
Well, that's usually what we hear, right? Around 2,000 to 3,000 is the general print
number
for SPs.
For sure, from like post 2018, I've heard that, but I didn't know if you start to go back if there were that many.
I would assume it's less than 3,000. I did see someone commented, like, do we think it's more of an issue with like SPs being a niche, like sort of a niche in the market? And that's definitely possible, because I would say there are some people that just want parallels and other people just want the SPs. And probably there are more parallel collectors than there are, just SP collectors. But I mean, that rookie image for Betts is fantastic. And it's only on that card, which makes it extra special.
And he has so few rookie cards in general compared to modern rookies now. And gold is pop 157. All right, thanks, Ben.
All right, so it's about 25% less.
I think it is something of a niche market, but I think it's growing rapidly because of the realization that collecting rookies or collecting base cards of rookies is just a no-win game, a no-win. So I think more people are gravitating towards SPs and SSPs. Red Hot Foil is 152.
That's a really cool card. It's a card that, yes, 100%. I'll take the SP over both of those all day long.
Yeah.
The Red Hot Foil is it's on the list of cards that Jeff and I sort of misjudged. Before we really had a full grasp on what we were doing, we grabbed that Red Hot Foil. I'm like, ooh, it's a color match and it looks great. But we just didn't really understand the whole history of parallels. And
that's the year that the Red Hot Foil is 2014. So yeah, it doesn't have. Yeah, I don't know. Jorge said, my brother's a huge Mookie fan. And he has a terrible habit of calling him the Tim Duncan of baseball. Maybe that's why his cards aren't too crazy. So I feel like maybe he means that. I'm not sure if the comparison is that he's not exciting, because Tim Duncan was kind of known as the big fundamental. He wasn't very exciting. So I don't really think that's an apt comparison, but maybe the respect from the collectors, because I know Tim Duncan isn't a huge collector magnet. So maybe that's the comparison.
Well, yeah, I think what he's saying is like Tim Duncan, he won all the time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he ever had a losing. I'm not a big basketball guy, but I feel like I don't think Tim Duncan ever had a losing season. He just put up numbers every single year, but was never a huge national figure. And so I guess in the hobby, he isn't especially popular.
Yeah.
So in the card, I would say the comparison is fairly apt. And that Betts just fills the stat sheet. His WAR is huge. He's won 2 rings and an MVP. But he's not getting the respect.
Yeah, but in terms of their playing styles, Duncan was just so consistently solid. Whereas Betts does make some spectacular plays on defense and offense. So yeah, I mean, I get the comparison. I'd like to think that Mookie has a little bit more pizzazz and more collector appeal, but maybe that's just because I collect him.
Yeah, I'm sure Mookie's the better bowler. But yeah, when it comes to playing the Braves in the playoffs, Mookie definitely, likes to make some pretty phenomenal defensive plays. Yeah, what Jorge is saying that, because Tim and Mookie win every year, and collectors for whatever reason are more interested in saying ooh, who's the guy who's just doing it right now? Yeah, Ben, I would agree that the print run on that Mookie Betts is probably right around 2,000. And how much 24 update even got opened? We got about 10% of the print run as gemmed. That seems really high, but I don't know. It definitely wasn't a product that people were jonesing for back in 2014.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was interesting because it's another card that we thought would be rising with his another good season, but doesn't seem to be.
Yeah, I remember I was talking to Ephus Pitch about a year and a half ago, and he was telling me how he's shifting. Maybe it was even 2 years ago. He was talking about how he's going to shift his collection to like extremely low pop cards, and I wasn't even sure what he meant exactly, but what he meant was like sub 20 PSA 10s, and it took me a little while, I think, to grab on. He was ahead of me on that curve, but to realize that we have to get these cards that are even like once you get over 100, it's like the pop is too high for any real explosive value.
That's true. Yeah, I can see that. But the counter argument is there's a lot of low pop cards that aren't worth it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
There's a lot of low pop cards that people are selling as being low pop. Well, that's because most people don't want to grade them or they're not in high demand. So yeah, you do have to find that marriage of a desired card and player and a low pop.
Yes, there's low pop because no one cares versus low pop because it's hard to find.
Right.
And yeah, it's hard. It can be hard to find. It'd be hard to know for sure which one we're dealing with.
Yeah, you look at a say compared to Mookie's Hollywood card, which I think the last sales were like $3,500 in his 7th season or whatever. So yeah, that's very rare. Chandler, I'm semi looking at an Ohtani Topps Chrome PSA 10 auto, pop 46. Seems low enough to remain very desirable.
So I would have my immediate thought here. Was it Candler?
Yeah.
Did I get that right? Okay. Then I feel like he's talking about the base auto.
Yes.
46 gems.
40, corrected. 42 gems.
40 gems. Personally, I would be more inclined to jump up. Give me the blue auto in like a PSA 8.
Yes.
And the base auto in a PSA 10.
Yeah, I think what you need to do is definitely evaluate the prices, what that price is, because you're definitely paying a premium there for the PSA 10 because it's not an uncommon card.
No.
The pop is rather low in PSA 10, yes, but it's not an uncommon card. So I don't even know those print runs are hard to know what they are.
They're hard to know, and damn it, I wish I had my computer open, but I feel like in 2018, Devers does not have a refractor auto in Topps Chrome, and I don't think Ohtani does either. I think Ohtani jumps from base to like purple.
Yeah.
I think he jumps base to purple. If someone could look that up on PSA and just Ben, for example, I know I hate
so purple would be out of 250, blue would be 50. If he's got a green, which I think he does, right? It'd be out of and down. Right. So yeah, I would seriously look at what kind of price you could get any of those numbered ones for versus and
because it's hard to know because it's a base. It's not numbered, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't have a refractor. Does that mean there's more base because there's no refractor, or did they just short print them all and there's less base? It's really you'd have to look if you want to Candler. If you've got PSA open, which it sounds like you do, look at like Ohtani's numbers versus Acuna's numbers because both of those cards should be mass subbed on all levels. And how many like Acuna base PSA 10s are there versus Ohtani base auto PSA 10s? I'd be curious. Those numbers are close.
Or at least look at the total submission, the total box, even if it's not PSA 10. Maybe let's say there's 200 of them subbed, 200 Acunas. How many Ohtanis are there? It should be similar.
That's an excellent. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, look up those two things and please get back to us. That would be. I'm happy to talk about this because that's the type of decision that Jeff and I love to discuss, and I would like to think occasionally make right.
Yeah, and I think even just like the change in what our opinions or what we would think over the last couple of years. Okay, base is 70 total at PSA for Ohtani, 277 for Ronald. Okay, so it's like a quarter of the.
That's really interesting. So yeah, so I would guess that maybe Otanis are actually, they might be short printed all around. And also, I'm guessing there's no refractors for, yeah, Ronald has refractors too, and Otani. So I
Yeah,
would say the base in a gem more desirable, certainly than it is for Acuna.
yeah, and you should look like see what the pop is on the purple. I mean, I bet there's more than 70 subbed on the purple. So you wonder if the base is, you can kind of gauge what the print run is on the base if it's similar total.
Yeah, good point too. Yeah, you can kind of use the percentages, right? Like if the base purple's at a 250 and there's 60 up there, you can kind of say if there's 60 out of 250, then the base would be 70 out of whatever.
300. Yeah.
That's interesting though. That I wonder why would Topps really short print the Otani autos? Maybe they just couldn't get any.
Yeah, maybe they only could get a certain amount, and that's what they.
Maybe they blew him out with all the Bowman Chrome they had him sign at the beginning of the year, and he was done with it. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, but that makes that certainly Candler. That makes it, I think, way more interesting because normally shy away from base, but I think in that particular instance, it might be worthwhile.
Yeah, and especially if the base and purple are similar, because purple doesn't have the same kind of cachet as some of the other parallels, the base might be more in demand there, or a better long term buy. But I would still look compared to, say, the blue, like the blue.
Yeah, see price wise what kind of grade you could get in a blue.
Right.
Yeah, it's interesting. 2018 didn't have as many, 56 total purples. Ooh.
Okay, so I mean, maybe if you do the rough math between, let's say, between 300 and 350 print run for the base, which seems really low for a base auto now.
Yeah. Yeah, just doing that in your head. Yeah, I think you come out to about 3 to 350. Yeah. That's really interesting because the like Acuna's refractors number to 499.
Yeah.
Which there are like significantly fewer Otani autos out there. Yeah.
Agreed, for sure.
Yeah, I would agree. Definitely under 500.
Yeah, so it's appealing, and now that we're talking about it more, I see that the appeal is there. But I would still price it out compared to those other ones. But like I was saying before, our opinions have changed. Like I think for a while we really thought the PSA 10 was the way to go. It's the highest grade. It's gem mint. It's the best of the best. But the more that our hobby evolution has went on, we've geared or leaned more towards the lower number parallel, even if it is a lower grade.
Yes, absolutely. Especially if it's like a true color.
Yes, like
especially I would leapfrog green, whenever possible. For whatever reason, the hobby has not really grabbed onto the greens. I don't know why that is.
Yeah, they're pretty similar in price to the blues, even though there's 50% more.
Yeah, I was trying to do that math in my head. You beat me to it, and you did.
And what?
And you did it correctly, so that's great.
Believe it or not.
Back, talking about at what print run or at what PSA number is an SP, no longer an SP. I would say that once it crosses 100, I think there's probably a certain amount of demand that will always be met. Like I think once we were looking at 100 plus PSA 10s, I feel like that means there's always going to be one available for sale, at least one, if not two, somewhere out there. So I think that does keep the price down.
It seems to be what Chris is talking about now seems to be a huge point of conversation around the hobby. When people are talking about consolidating or trading up, their biggest thing is, well, if I could get the card again, if I could see the card again, if the card comes up again. So yeah, to make that point where if there's always going to be one out on eBay, then how desirable is it really? Would you rather have something that you can't find, and then if needed, you could always go back and get that one? So yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, we've consolidated quite a bit in the last 12 months, and there's still, at this point, there's only been one card that I've sold in our consolidation period that I have not been able to find again.
And have you been actively trying to find it?
Oh, always. I was trying to find it even when I had one. I was always looking for more. But it just doesn't come up. So I'm not going to say I regret selling it because it was part of the money that went into like the Shohei Ohtani Black that we have. But it is something I think about.
So Jorge said, but wouldn't Pop 200 or less eventually be considered a little bit with them printing more? Well, that's kind of why I brought up the conversation, because
Yeah.
it did surprise us that this Betts has cleared 200 as an SP. But at the same time, when you compare it to the SPs of the guys in 2018 and beyond, that does seem like a small number. But like Chris said, there's always some available. So maybe that's just, and the fact that Mookie's not a huge in demand guy in the hobby, those two factors make it difficult to think that that could really go on an upward trajectory continuously.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we see it with like the bat down as well. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah.
I mean, that's well over or around 1,000 right now. But I mean, as great as Acuna gets, like that card will spike a few times, and then eventually it slowly starts to come down because there's 10 available for sale that just get gobbled up, and the demand ends, or the supply meets the demand. But
yeah. Henry with a question. Are you guys 100% eBay vault or still have the bank boxes?
that's a great question, and this is going to sound like we're full of shit, but in all seriousness, we have sent now a big box of a bunch of stuff to the eBay vault. If we're considering, we looked at like the next 3 months, and if it's something we might consider selling, then it's gone to the vault, or it's on its way to the vault.
On the way to the vault, yeah.
Our long-term holds are in a safety deposit box.
Yes, yes, because the eBay vault with the no seller fees is crazy. So if there's $1,000 card and Chris and I are considering selling it over the next 3 months, our options are keep it here, sell it ourselves on Facebook or Instagram for a discount, put it up, take the hit, whatever it is, send it off to consignment, you take that hit, whatever it is, or you sell it from the vault and it sells for $1,000, you get $1,000. So that's a pretty good appeal.
Yeah, not having to deal with people on Facebook is almost worth the only benefit of it is not dealing with that extra 10% that eBay is going to take off the top, on top of what PayPal takes. But to wipe that away for however long it lasts, like, yeah, we're going to try to take full advantage of that.
Yeah. So, but to answer the question, like Chris said, the cards that we plan on keeping for the long term that are part of the long term collection, we still keep those at the bank. So they're close and we can access them if we want pictures or just to cuddle them. But they don't need to be close to sale.
No. Yeah, we definitely have. I would say we got at least a dozen cards that are long-term holds, or maybe your son's college fund sort of tied into them, / my divorce fund.
Yeah. And we also have a handful of cards that have went the other way, and so they're not worth sending in because we don't want to sell them now, like our Fernando Tatis, Gavin Lux, those kind of guys. So those are the in between guys.
The Fernando Tatis thing was really funny. We were looking over stuff, and Jeff was like, "It's almost embarrassing to have these cards taking up space at the bank." So we pulled them out. Oh, it's painful. It's painful. Hopefully next year we'll see the Tatis fold. And I don't even know if his prices. I don't think his prices will ever rebound to where they were.
No, never. They were, but so the question is, do you liquidate them all and buy something very small, or do you wait till they go up a little bit and try to cash out? We don't know. So anyway, if anybody has any Tatis opinions, but we got a question from Caleb. Prices aside, would you rather have a blue Topps Chrome rookie auto PSA 9 or a Topps Chrome gold rookie non-auto BGS 9.5? That's a pretty complicated choice.
It is. Yeah, I have follow-up questions. What year?
What year?
What year? Because if it's 2022, where there were at least 15,000 autos of every player, I give me the Topps Chrome gold.
The gold, yeah.
It's like 2016, 17, 15, where there weren't as many autos as there are today. I would take the auto.
Yeah, 20. Caleb says.
So it's right in the middle.
Yeah. So if we try to think of like an Acuna, for example, you got a blue Chrome rookie auto, I believe.
Indeed, I do. Yeah. So yes, I would say. All right, follow-up question: is it a BGS? Are we talking like a pure gem or a min gem? I feel like we need all the information. I would in 2018. I would lean auto. I would lean toward the blue auto.
So thinking in specifically of Acuna, you would take the Acuna auto, the blue versus BGS 9.5.
Yeah, because Acuna especially. I mean, and this is all Acuna is going to be our hypothetical here, but there's also like his Topps Chrome image. I don't think has any particular like significance in Topps Chrome.
Right.
So Acuna becomes like a separate animal in a way in this question.
So the gold isn't held quite as dear, maybe, as
I don't think it
there would be a gold bat down or something.
exactly. Yeah, if it was like, or even like the gold update image.
All right, Caleb. Fortunately, I think I'll end up getting both the players Gleyber Torres, and his prices are fairly cheap. I'm a Yankees fan. It's 210 subs and 9.5 subs. That's great. Sounds like a great crossover candidate right there.
Yeah. Okay.
Chrome. We've had good luck with the graded card review with Chrome.
So yeah, so it's a Gleyber Torres Topps Chrome Gold, like Pure Gem Plus.
Yeah.
Versus a Topps Chrome Blue Auto and a PSA 9.
Yeah.
Whew. Man, the blue kind of Yankee combo is cool.
But that it could be a gold gem, and that would be cool too. So.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I'm trying to think. I'm gonna think about if for Devers, what would I rather have? And I think I'd take the gold. And
Yeah.
I'd cross that thing over. Or I would attempt to cross it over and then punch a wall when it comes back at 9.
And then crack it out and send it again. Actually, I do graded card review first with a 10 595. I do graded card review.
Yeah, because I do think like at some point we're going to be so saturated with autos that a pure Topps Chrome Gold is always going to be special.
Yeah. Even when Chris and I have been talking, just trying to figure out what direction we want our collection to take, it's nice to be able to have sort of a target, and golds are a pretty nice target to have. So I think there's always going to be that demand for a gold.
Yes, agreed.
That's a good question.
Yeah. I want to briefly interrupt, just a brief interlude in our card talk. I'm with my parents in North Carolina. My parents are old. My dad's 87. Sometimes he doesn't really. Neither one of them hear particularly well. We had this conversation, which I'm going to relay to you now. I did not change any of this. I wrote it down on a napkin because it was so preposterous.
Was this before or after you ripped the hobby box?
This was after. This was like an hour and a half ago. Okay. So my mom is coming. So we're in their assisted living facility. My mom is always talking about. She met this woman who's been here for 18 years, and she's like, "Well, I don't want to live here for 18 years." I'm like, I don't know how to respond to that. I'm like, well, I hope you do, but the alternative's not great. So anyway, today we're eating dinner. My mom said, I don't want to be here until I'm 95 years old. My legs aren't strong enough. And I'm like, strong enough for what? Like, you have a walker, you can walk around just fine. And she's like, well, sometimes I can't walk around. So I'm like, well, you always have your walker. You should be good to go. And she's like, I guess if I have my walker, it's fine. There's a pause. My dad, very loud, says, if you really think about it, and we're like, oh, my dad's going to chime in. Where are we going with this? He said, and I quote, it takes a lot of body strength to pole vault.
Was he in the other room watching the
no,
track
the other table? He was not 6 feet away from us. No one was talking about pole vaulting.
Were his eyes glazed over? He was having a daydream about pole vaulting?
I guess. He was just, we were talking about
imagining your mom with her walker, setting it down and planting and launching 20 feet in the air over a pole?
I don't know. Maybe that's how he views his walker, as sort of a pole vault type exercise. I don't know. I mean, it was a weird moment because he's not wrong. He's just not relevant to what we're talking about.
Yeah, that was kind of just out of left field there. But well, I'm glad that you're getting some entertainment too while you're.
My parents are, if nothing, they are very entertaining. I will always give them that.
Well, that's two quality additions from your dad. The question about Topps and why would they waste their time with the autographs?
Yeah. And to be fair, I edited that one, just to be clear. I definitely took some profanity out to make it YouTube acceptable. It would be a good reality show. I really think Rippin' Packs with my dad would be a fun show, but it would be like a hard R.
Well, maybe next week you should have him on, or next time you're home, we could have him on the show. We could have a tape delay. Somebody could hit the.
We should do a tape delay.
Grady, hey guys, how's it going? Super awesome cards you have. Thanks, Grady. I've been following you on Insta for a long time. Appreciate all the content on SPs, and you've inspired me to get into the SPs. Well, thanks, Grady. Yeah, we kind of are big fans of the SPs, and that's why I brought up the bets tonight. It definitely consumes our thoughts if the hobby's gonna embrace the SPs going forward, or if it will stay more of a niche market. I don't know. It's all opinions, but I think they're cool. I think it's a cool way to explore the hobby.
Especially if the images are good. We know that sometimes Topps chooses inexplicably terrible images.
Yes, if anybody hasn't watched the video that Chris and I posted on our channel, please check it out. It's 10 minutes. It's 5 terrible images of superstar players, and there have been some absolutely horrific ones over the last couple of years. So if you want to see the worst card imaginable of Devers, Acuna, etc., check out our video after this, please. Grady just picked up the Trout 2019 SP and the Kershaw 2017 Shades. Oh, nice. And the Trout's an opening day. Opening
Nice.
ones.
Oh, yeah. The opening day ones are like, those are grails. The 2019, I think, he's in the on deck circle, right? With like the donut on the bat.
Ooh, that's a great shot.
I like that card a lot. That card is really cool.
Henry says, I remember dogging was that 2021, the big heads?
Yes.
The big head SPs? That was a little ridiculous. You know what? My brother was pissed Topps did his boy Freeman like that for his heritage card. Yes, Jorge.
That's such a bad card.
Yes, it's a terrible card.
Bad.
And the fact that they made him autograph it.
I can't believe he will. I would have signed the back. I would not have signed the front of that card.
They just signed it over and over. Before I forget, what I wanted to say about those big heads, they reminded me, I think it was was it 91 score where they had the insert set, like the drawings of those players with the big head? I just remember Ricky Henderson.
Yes, it was probably 91 score because that set was like 2,000 cards.
Yes, they just had insert upon insert. But anyways, I thought those were cool. The lifelike big heads, I just thought it didn't really work.
No, absolutely not. Those are terrible. The only thing worse than that was the mascot heads.
Yes. What a weird idea.
Yeah.
But Polar Bear was a great shot.
I like that card. I really do. If I were a Mets fan or I love Pete Alonso, I would need that Polar Bear card. For sure.
Question from Ian. Since you were talking about crossovers before, do you guys crack and sub or try the official crossover PSA for your BGS Gemmin Plus? I think you guys have had success with official crossovers. Yes, so we've done a lot of both. In fact, we have 5 cards there now, and I've been informed that the grades are ready, but we're going to do another blind reveal. Hopefully we'll have them back for next week. There's 5 cards that we sent for the graded card crossover.
Yeah, I get nervous just thinking about like opening that box live on camera because as soon as you look at it, you'll know. We'll see the stack of slabs.
Right. And are they still in their BGS slabs? Yeah. Hey, what's up, Kevin? Thanks for watching. Yeah, so we've had success with crossing over, especially Chrome, the Chrome True Gem Plus, which last time at Burbank we tried graded card crossover on 4 cards.
Yep.
2 were paper cards and 2 were Chrome. The Chrome, I believe, one was a True Gem Plus and one was just 9.5s.
Yeah.
Okay. And both those successfully crossed over. Both paper cards which were at least True Gems. Neither of them did. So we went 2 for 4, and other times we've had success more with the Chrome than with the paper. I feel like it's easier for them to see through the plastic, and they're more likely to give the Chrome the benefit of the doubt instead of cracking it out and finding something on the paper. But we'll find out. So tune in next week, hopefully, and you can find out how we did on these next 5. But we've also cracked cards out.
Yes, I will say anecdotally, for people I've talked to, any cards that they have done the crossover with that have a 10 on surface, those almost unilaterally have crossed. Because I feel like that's the part PSA has a hard time judging and really seeing. But I think if they see a 10 on surface, they assume the surface is fine.
Good point.
But what Jeff is saying, we have also cracked a decent number. And I would say our crack out rate is something around the neighborhood of like 70%.
Yeah. And there's a couple we're still considering. Like we have another Acuna SSP that we're considering possibly cracking and sending.
Yes, horizontal one. Yeah, I that's probably worth a shot at this point. The price has come down enough that we can survive. There was a question in there that
Yeah, we got more questions. Caleb, what's your ultimate Grail card if money is no problem? And a similar, Grady, if you guys were to go after one SP or SSP, which are you choosing?
Oh.
Your Grail card could be an SSP or an SP. Boy, it's so hard to say. I mean, I know while we both have an appreciation for a lot of vintage cards, and there's some amazing ones historically, I don't know. If realistically, I'm thinking probably something modern.
Yeah, I mean, if I could choose one like SP, SSP, I would. It's hard to say one, but I would want the rest of those 2012 Topps Chrome SP/SSPs. They're just so cool, and you never see them. And like the images aren't so special that they stand out, so I feel like they just get missed, especially back in 2012 when it was their first year. So like Josh Hamilton has one, but he's just at the plate swinging, and it looks similar to his base card. So like it doesn't really jump off the page. And if you were just going through looking for your Harpers or looking for Yu Darvish rookies or something, the Hamilton might just get tossed aside. And I feel like that's happened because there's none.
Probably happened a lot.
Yeah.
And I was thinking similarly, what about the 2016 updates, the All-Star Game ones?
Yes.
You just never see them. There some really cool images, fun images. There's a good Mookie in there.
Yeah. Just Google 2016 Topps update variations. There's some really great. They're all around the All-Star Game.
Yeah.
Corey Seager actually has a really cool horizontal Gold Cup one. There's a BGS 9 on eBay right now. If you want to take a look, it's going to go for stupid money because you just never see it. But those are really cool. And a lot of those All-Star ones have other players on them.
Yes.
Like SSP is him and Machado.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of cool stuff like that.
So that's where I would lean there, and maybe even the Hollywood Mookie, because that's a really cool card. I don't know. It comes up rarely, but it's really expensive. Trout has a good one from the All-Star Game. Yes.
Yeah, and it's that weird All-Star jersey too. It's like brown and yellow, and I think
Padres.
They're all by the batting cage, I think, for the SSPs.
It's got to be a Padres All-Star Game, huh?
It must. That would explain. Yeah. But they couldn't have made more than like 25 or 30 of all those cards. You just never see them.
They're so rare.
Yeah. So that's a good call. Those would be pretty high on our list as well. But yeah, if we could buy one, there was a question like one card, money.
The other card is Grail with if money was no option. So sure, you could say I'd take that PSA 10 Mickey Mantle, 50.
Sure, right?
But in trying to think of a more realistic one, there might be something like a Pujols, somebody who doesn't have a lot of high-end rookie autos.
Yeah, I mean, just trying to think of people recently, like Miguel Cabrera has one rookie auto in Topps Update, in 2020 Topps Update, and it's all sealed set. So you have to buy a set, open it up, and maybe he's the auto in there. Probably not, but maybe he is. So that card's amazing because Miguel Cabrera is sort of underappreciated right now because he ended playing so terribly, but is actually really, really good.
Cards and Crypto has the only Trout SSP from the All-Star Game.
Yeah, and I think Cardboard Showcase has the Harper, I think, on Instagram. I think it's him. So yeah, or even that 2001 Bowman Chrome Pujols auto.
Yeah.
That card changed the whole hobby. That's like the first real, Bowman Chrome auto that sort of changed everything. So maybe that one.
Yeah, I would think something like that would be really cool.
Or just an 88 Donruss Greg Jeffries. There's always that. You don't see those.
Someday I would like a high grade 84 Donruss Mattingly. That would be pretty cool because that was like unattainable as a kid.
Yeah, you were always a big Mattingly fan. There was one at Burbank, and it's just crazy to see one of those that's dead centered.
Yes.
It's just like you kind of stop in your tracks and take a look at it. Jorge teasing, yes, the Corey Seager is him warming up with his bat. It's horizontal. It's kind of a low angle. I think he might have a leg up, and I think the bat has a donut on it. Yeah. But it's got up. It's a really cool card, and you never see it. It's a great time to auction off a Corey Seager card too.
Grady says, how do you guys go about having saved searches on eBay? What keywords do you got to use? Because I find the searches are so bad for that. Well, Chris is really good with the searches, so I'll let you handle that one.
I feel like I'm good, and yet I miss things that infuriate me. So, for example, I will look for, like, I'll search for 2016 Topps update, and then I'll put in parentheses SSP, comma, variation, and then end parentheses. And then eBay will search for 2016 Topps update and then both of those terms individually. I learned that trick recently, and that does actually seem to work. So I would highly recommend that. Like, if you're looking for, like, a Ronald Acuna 2018 Topps Chrome gold or blue refractor, you could search for 2018 Topps Chrome Ronald Acuna refractor, parentheses, blue, comma, gold. Or just list everything out individually as well.
That's interesting. Yeah, because I always have trouble with the SP and SSP searches, especially because everybody puts that shit in their title. It's like, I mean, something could be numbered out of 1,000 and they'll add SP, SSP. So, like, ooh, an SSP 2016 update came up, and it's not.
Yeah, I also just have a blanket Ronald Acuna Jr. SSP save search. Just, you never know. And the number of people who will put his base update rookie card in there, but then under the description they'll put SSP so it clicks, I hate those people so much. That's like the furthest from an SSP in our lifetime. That might be the most baseball years.
That's frustrating. But yeah, that's a good question, because the searches, they aren't exactly user friendly mainly because of people putting wrong information in. And then also, Chris has had luck finding ones that aren't labeled SP or SSP, or they forget a keyword or something, and then you find it. But it's kind of luck if you find that.
Extremely lucky. One of those Topps Chrome cards I missed. The seller misspelled the word variation. He spelled variarian, if that makes sense. Instead of a T, he used another R. And somehow someone else saw it and, of course, bought it. So that was frustrating. Trying to find that Seager, but no luck. I don't know how else to describe it.
Yeah, Jorge said he found it. So Jorge, put in the chat what you used to find it to help Grady. Yeah, 2016 update SSPs. They are really hard to come by.
Oh, wait. It might be that's the Corey Seager I'm thinking of now that I'm saying it. It might be from 2017. The one with the gold cup. So if you were looking for that Corey Seager, try 2017 Corey Seager SSP. I might have had the year wrong. I think 2016 was his rookie.
That's true. I think you're right. So if it's gold,
he has an update SSP from the All-Star game, but that's not the warming up Gold Cup one. And I have not seen the rookie one on eBay. So I think the one I'm talking about is 2017. Grady says he found it. So yeah, I think it's 2017. It's just a really cool image. Yeah, 2017. Okay. All right. My bad. I was off by a year. Sorry, guys. It's been a long day.
Yes, I get that. Yeah. Well, before we go, anything you wanna add as far as how you feel like the playoffs are affecting hobby prices or will be affecting hobby prices?
Well, I would say, without looking and being specific, because I really haven't had a lot of time to look at prices, but if September 30th hadn't shown us 250-ish, that's not terrible for a super rare card, but Seager's obviously ticked up since the summer. He's probably going to finish second in the MVP voting. If September 30th didn't give us a low point in Vladimir Guerrero Jr. price, we're about to see it. The only highlight of Guerrero we're going to see for the whole offseason is his dumbass getting picked off at second base.
Oh, Aaron, you joined just in time. This is our first mention of the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to say, that was a great play with Gray.
Carlos Correa had a great 2 games. Everything he did in those 2 games is why the Twins signed him.
Yeah.
That play, the chopper that got misplayed, fantastic. And from what I hate saying this, but I saw A-Rod went back and analyzed, and he said that you could see Correa say something to the pitcher, and the pitcher touched his hat.
Hat and the timing, boom, boom. Yeah.
The guy knows how to play defense, even when he can't.
But yeah, I'll give Vlad credit. He did try the swim move, and he almost got it. He almost got the swim move back into second base, but you just can't get picked off there.
You cannot get. You better off standing on second base with both feet. That was just horrible, and that's going to be the play. That play is basically the Blue Jay season. Just inexplicable, terrible baseball at the wrong time.
Yeah, A's. I mean, they have a lot to prove as a team, and Vlad has a lot to prove next year. So we'll see what happens. They were my preseason World Series pick. Blue
I
Jays,
think
Padres. The Blue Jays at least made it to the playoffs, although you would hardly know it by them getting swept along with my Brewers. Four sweeps, not much drama, but
I
hopefully.
had Jays Angels in the ALCS, so that was a swing and a miss for me. But yeah, someone said I think Aaron Davies just said amateur hour from the Blue Jays, and both on the field and in the dugout. I don't care if your game plan is 3 innings from Barrios. That dude was absolutely dealing. One walk, get the hell out of here. I can't. Just bad. The whole team played bad, just bad all around.
Yeah,
Like terrible situational hitting. Everything was wrong at the wrong time. It's 2 games, of course, so anything can happen in that 2 games. The Braves have looked terrible for 2-game stretches.
yeah. Well,
So,
and the Brewers did, and it's especially bad when you get a lead both games and you can't do anything with it. And the Brewers have just been so terrible, inexplicable roster decision. Jesse Winker, who hasn't played a major league game since August, is his pick to be on the roster, and then he tears his oblique striking out for his first time batting in 70 days. Jorge, I want that Seager. Thanks a lot since he's picked up the Rangers so much this year. My wallet hates you guys. Yeah, that's a great card. Sorry about your wallet.
yeah, that's a good place to spend it though. But yeah, I mean Jesus. And I don't know. I watched Devin Williams pitch in his one postseason inning, and I'm like, who is this guy? He looked absolutely terrified.
Yeah, they were all bad. They were all bad. Everybody was bad. And now Council's probably going to be with the Mets, so be a lot of turnover. A lot of turnover.
I love Buck Showalter. I would not blame the Mets' failures on Showalter, but if he has a chance to get out of there, I would. If I'm rooting for a team, I would certainly want Showalter to be running it. I was surprised to hear the Padres GM gave Bob Melvin a vote of confidence. You can't get your team to take infield before a game, and you're going to stick around as manager? Like, that seems nuts.
Although maybe it's the dreaded vote of confidence, which means 7 days from now he's going to get fired.
He's gone. Yeah, I don't know. If any team needs a shakeup, it's that team.
Yes.
What clubhouse culture is, whoever you want to blame it on, it needs to be changed.
Yeah. Well, this is good. By next week at this time, we should have a good idea of what some of these playoff teams look like. So it'll be fun.
But yeah, I mean, the Rangers did look great.
Yeah.
And I tell you, I saw someone post this on Instagram when I was talking to a Yankee friend of mine, and he said all he can think about is Brian Cashman saying that Jordan Montgomery wouldn't make a playoff start for the Yankees. That's why they traded him for Harrison Bader. I mean, he's not wrong. Made a really good playoff start for the team. So
he's not wrong. And the worst part is, or the most surprising part, I guess, is all that money that Texas put into pitching. No DeGrom, no Scherzer, but their other moves that they made have really paid off. So that's kudos to their general manager.
Yeah, I think it's interesting to see the Rangers did really well with a starting pitcher the Yankees didn't want, won game 1, and then a starting pitcher the Red Sox didn't want, won game 2.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you've got Carlos Rodon with maybe one of the worst starts in history to end his ridiculously poor first season with the Yankees.
Yeah, and by the way, anyone who's looking for sort of suggestions or asking for, Jeff and I both kept Carlos Rodon in different fantasy leagues, so just remember that anyone can be an idiot.
Yes, absolutely. All right, last comment. Jorge said, I watched 90% of Padres games this year since Manny's my favorite player, and all I've got to say is they were extremely unlucky all season, which I get. I mean, it's rare to think that your 4 best hitters are all going to have career worst years, even though, I mean, for a career worst year, Soto still.
Yeah, I refuse to call his career worst year, but yeah, Manny's worst, Bogart's worst, Tatis worst. But yeah, I mean, you don't go 1-12 in postseason games without. It's a combination of bad luck and just really terrible execution, like in big spots, like bad situational stuff. And we saw that in their last week when that one inning. I know it's just one inning, and one inning doesn't summarize an entire season. But they were in the bottom of the 10th inning at home. They gave up a run in the top of the 10th, and they had first and second, no one out, and their catcher up there. And he swung away, hit into a double play to basically end their season. Like, how is he not bunting right there? No. I don't get it. I don't get it. But that team they need like the talent's there, but they need some sort of change in how they're approaching games and the way that they're preparing for games. But by the way, I think it was Jorge. We love Manny Machado as well.
Yep.
Manny Machado is very high on Jeff and my list of like guys to look at this offseason. And
yeah, he still ended up getting 30 home runs this year, and he'll be back next year.
Yes, and he is well. His pace looks fantastic. He just had elbow surgery, so
Yes.
he may not be okay, but any guy that can have the season he just had in what seems like serious elbow pain, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I for sure want that guy.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up. We went a little long. Thank you, everybody who tracked us down and found us on Thursday nights. We'll be here next Thursday again at 6. Really appreciate all your comments and questions. Some really cool things for us to think about. Chris and I love talking cards, so it makes it fun. If you haven't checked out our terrible cards video yet, please do. It's only 10 minutes, but some of the worst cards you'll see of great players.
Easily the worst card. Some of the worst cards you'll ever see.
Yes. So check that out, and come find us on Instagram. Baseball Card Addict and My Favorite Cardboard. Let us know in the comments what you want us to talk about, and we'll see you next week.
Yep.
Thanks.